All right. I think this is recording. Usually I do streams, so it's awkward for me to do a video like this every once in a while. Hello. It is January 26th of 2026, a Monday. A snow day for my kids today at school. Some beautiful weather we have in this DC area. And by beautiful, I mean really annoying weather. It's sad, really, because when you're a kid, snow is so cool. Um, but when you're an adult with kids, with jobs, with responsibilities, with cars, and with no garages, it becomes a little frustrating. But um, regardless, there is something beautiful about the snow. Interesting snowfall that we had over the weekend. It was nonstop here. And I hope everyone is safe. I am usually cynical about weather just because in the DC area when it rains, people get into a 12 car pileup. If you know, you know. Um, I think I'm stalling a little bit. Yes, this video is called I Relapsed. Um, and it's probably not going to be what a lot of you think that end up clicking on it or getting it on your feed if this does become something that gains some traction. I'm not a big YouTuber, I'm not a big streamer. Um, I've got some real ones out there, some ones that, you know, are with me every stream. And to those folks out there, I say thank you. This video might not even be for you. But getting to the point, a few months ago, I made a video about me letting get, how do I want to say this? About me getting let go of my job that I had. I was a defense contractor. Prior to that, I was working in the intelligence field. Prior to that, I was in the military. Prior to that, I was a teenager. um, but in that video, I talked about how for the better part of 5 years, I was struggling with anxiety, depression, and for a majority of those 5 years, thankfully, I was able to find some medication that helped with panic attacks. Um, had a lot of scares before getting on that medicine because I didn't know what was wrong with me. So I ended up in the hospital a lot, ended up in the cardiologist office a lot due to those types of things. So once I got on a pretty good regimen of medicine, which was escitalopram and hydroxyzine mainly, so an SSRI, and then some kind of overpowered Benadryl, I guess, for when things got bad. That was generally um, that was generally enough to keep a lot of the worst things at bay. But unfortunately, with my anxiety and the panic that I have, it's not necessarily curable. And I do want to preface this by saying I have not gone to talk therapy or CBT or any of those kinds of options. And for those of you who are going to say, well, that's your problem, I get it. But maybe you might understand, maybe you don't. But some people don't really feel like that would help them, even if it's the thing that's holding them back. So you are welcome to call me an idiot in the comments below or to tell me that I should be doing that instead of all this garbage that I'm about to get into. But um, just want to make this video. Why do I want to make this video? I want to make this video to hopefully speak to some of you out there who might be dealing with the same thing to let you know that you are not alone in this. So yeah, going back to that video, I'll probably link it somewhere. I'll have it in the description for sure, and I'll try to do one of those nice things where it appears when I'm talking about it. while the video is playing, just so you get some background. But essentially, when I got let go of my job from the defense contracting world, it opened up an avenue to use a new kind of medication that I hadn't been even considering for the past decade of my career, which was cannabis. And in that video, you'll see a guy who was recently converted. You'll see a guy who tried cannabis for one of the first times in his life and was really happy about the way it was making him feel. Um, and that guy was very proud to say that in taking the cannabis, he recognized that the panic and the anxiety that he was feeling was just sensation and it wasn't a cause for alarm. And when he was on the effects of cannabis, he could withstand it, and it was almost like fighting the demons. And for a time, that was true over these past few months. I felt like I found a good rhythm. But that guy also had said that he got off of his medicine because he had a lot of problems with the medicine. And I'll be honest, I still do have a lot of problems with the Lexapro, the SSRI type medicine, and another type of medicine, the benzodiazepines that I've taken every so often when things get really bad. Um, I'll have had one of those, and overall, I would say that the medicine was a godsend um, for the majority of the time, but unfortunately, when you're dealing with, I think, mental health issues, your mind's always at war with itself and with you, to be honest. There's never a time where you feel like you're doing the absolute right thing. There's never a time where I feel like I'm going to treat myself in the way that's going to not only let me live, but let me thrive in life. It's a lot of times it feels like you're just surviving. Um, the medicine had made me pretty, at least feel, more drowsy than my happy-go-lucky, energetic, passionate self. Some days I just didn't feel like I had a lot of um, joy, natural joy inside of me. Some days I felt more irritable than others, even if the anxiety and the panic attacks were being kept at bay. Some days were just shitty, you know. And again, armchair quarterbacks out there, I get it. Everybody goes through days like that. Um, I do want to just say real quick on the whole anxiety and panic thing. I can't stress this enough. Before I dealt with any of these kinds of issues in my life, I was one of those assholes that just said, get over it. What do you mean you're depressed? Just, you know, get away from the thing that's making you depressed. Oh, you're depressed and you're on the internet. Oh, you're chronically online. Just get offline. Um, or whatever it may be. Oh, you have addictions. Oh, you're a nicotine user, or you drink alcohol. Just stop doing those things. But you know, when the nice devil got a hold of me in terms of anxiety and panic disorder, I felt relatively healthy at that time in my life, and it really did a number on me in more ways than one. So, what I'm trying to say is, people that are struggling, they aren't weak, or they aren't the type of weak that you might think, right? Their mind is literally going against itself, and it's not a fun feeling to feel like you can't control it anymore. Now, nobody is fully in control. That's an important thing for us all to realize. But I'm telling you, when your own brain is telling you that you're dying, that you aren't going to be alive for much longer, that there's nothing to live for because it's all going to end soon, you could look at those people and just say, you need help, man. Like, you're being a loser. Um, those people are in a fight that came out of nowhere, and the one ally that they thought they had, which was their own selves, their own brain, their own positive thinking that might have gotten them very far in life, sometimes doesn't show up to the plate to bat. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing, and I think the medicine was positive overall, like I said, even in that video that I made. Um, but I did feel like it was not exactly what I needed. So I got on a cannabis kick for a little while. I was taking it as needed, I would say, and I was experimenting with edibles. I was experimenting with vapes. I even experimented with rolling a joint, and my God, how terrible was that? First of all, shit stinks so badly. But also, mine looked like I don't know what one of my sons would make in an arts and crafts class in pre-K when they were 5 years old. So, don't know what happened there, but um, I got good results with both an edible and with the vape. But I kind of settled on the edibles because I like being in my right mind usually. Depending on the strain that I was using for a vape, I would trip, and while the tripping was very therapeutic at some points, I'm a stay-at-home dad now, so I've got some free time on my hand, but I like to be able to be always ready in case I need to bring something for my kids at school or if I need to pick them up early. So an edible was kind of what I felt like the better of the options. But over time, unfortunately, instead of feeling good and feeling like the sensations are just a sensation and I can overcome it, it brought back a lot of the anxiety and it brought back the D word, which unfortunately is one that you know I've also been dealing with, not just for the past 5 years, but probably for a long time, and that's depression. And depression is, man, it is a pain. It is not something that I would wish on my worst enemy. It's something that I feel like people that don't have it maybe have an idea of what it could feel like, because maybe we've all suffered from a minor event related depression in our lives, but the everyday weight of life just not feeling um, like there's any purpose to it whatsoever. The feeling that no matter what you do, you're going to fail. You already failed. All of those things constantly compounding on each other on top of anxiety, it's a lot. It is a lot to deal with. And it's really sucky because a lot of people that have depression, a lot of people that deal with anxiety, myself included, would really tell you that they have some of the best life circumstances out of anyone. Um, I have the best wife, the best partner I could ever hope to have in my life. I've got two awesome boys for my kids. We've got two rescue dogs that we were able to take in, get them, one of them surgery on both of their legs so that they have a new lease on life. He's like 10 or 11 years old now and acts like a puppy. Um, you know, we live in a house that we bought, um, which is more than a lot of people can say. My wife works at a job that's, financially good enough to where I don't have to scramble to find a job, and I haven't needed to. And I had a job where I stashed a lot of money away, and we were able to live a life of relatively good comfort, despite the economy going to shit. um, and with all that, still depression can really ruin a mood. So with the cannabis, I was using it, and it was kind of like, yeah, I can deal with what's going on. I can deal with the anxiety. I can deal with the panic. It's not really panic. And all of a sudden, it just, it became insurmountable. It broke me again. So when I got off of the cannabis um, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I was just trying to take it easy. But unfortunately, and I've had these cycles before, you get in a relatively dangerous area where no matter what you're going through, it could be a needle dropping on the ground, and that's enough to set you off into a full blown, anxiety attack or panic attack. And another problem that I was having with cannabis was the fact that it increases my heart rate, it makes my blood pressure go up, and those are two things that, with my anxiety itself, they're not good for me. Most of my anxiety and panic relates to like feeling like I'm having a heart attack. Um, I just went to my annual physical, and while everything's looking good, my cholesterol's a little higher than their normal healthy range, just a tad. But even just a tad, with this freaking stuff that's going on in my head, that's enough to make me feel like shit, man. I am one step away from having a heart attack, so why would I want to get any closer? Then, the research starts coming in. The idea that cannabis can have dangerous effects on your heart, especially the edible kind. The fact that, there's studies out there that say people that are, dealing with high amounts of stress, anxiety, mixed with depression, it equates to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It really had me in a bad place. So with all that being said, um, I made the decision, I think 3 days ago, to get back into the swing of things and get back on my Lexapro. And I'm not ashamed of saying that, Honestly, I'm more ashamed to say that I got off of it without weaning originally. I think that was a very stupid idea. I'm not making this video to, throw a pity party for myself. I really want to make this video to reach out and, put my hand on other shoulders who are going with this kind of thing, because there have been several times where I've tried to wean myself off of Lexapro only to come back to it. There have been several times where I thought, I'm strong enough, I can handle this, only for the realization that it's not about being strong or not. Unfortunately, there are people in this world that live with chronic disabilities, and people can say what they want to say, people can comment what they want to comment, people can tell you online what they want to tell you online. If they don't know what you're going through, if they're not in your shoes, then you do not have to, succumb to their bullying or harassment, their opinions even, that you just need to get over it, get off of it. Maybe one day I will get off of the medicine permanently. Maybe. Maybe one day I won't need it anymore. Maybe one day, maybe one day I won't even have anxiety or depression anymore. Maybe one day this feeling that's in my chest where I constantly have to rotate my shoulder, this feeling that, I'm going to have a heart attack at any moment, this feeling that I'm going to drop dead, the shortness of breath, the dizziness, whatever. Maybe one day all that's going to go away. I mean, I know one day it's going to go away when I die, right? Not that I'm looking forward to it, but maybe one day, while I'm still breathing on this earth, there will be a way to be cured from all of this. Sorry if that made a bad noise on your eardrums there. I'm sure some of you, if this video gets, somewhat popular, have gone through something similar. I'd be happy to hear your opinion, but as it stands, I'm going to be off the cannabis for the foreseeable future. When I got back on the Lexapro, things were so bad that I took a hydroxyzine. When I took hydroxyzine, things were still so bad that I took one of my, benzos. And I had to do that for a couple of days, but thankfully, the past couple of days it's just been back to the Lexapro, and I didn't need to continue ramping up. Obviously, we all know how bad these benzos are. For those of you who have ever dealt with dependency on it, can't be fun. I took benzos for 3 days in a row at a higher dose back before I ever got on an SRI or SSRI, just because it was an emergency room decision. And man, it was the best days of my life at that time. They work really well, but even after 3 days, my brain was telling me, man, you gotta get another one of those somehow. So my heart goes out to anybody that struggles with these types of things, because it's such an easy avenue to get into dependency. And I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. I know it doesn't mean a lot. A lot of you don't even know who I am. Hopefully you do, more so one day. I'm not going to plug myself, okay? But you are here. So just know that, I usually stream every weekday, and I'd love to be here to chat with anybody that struggles with this as well. I find that talking, you know, this is going to sound a little, what do you want to call it? It's going to sound a little hypocritical. I don't really feel like a therapy session would be beneficial to me, but I do feel like talking with other people and, having a community is important. Having friends is important. Having connections in life. When you are somebody who feels like isolating, it's important. Um, so just know that there is at least one dude that is here for you. I'm not asking for your patronage. I don't need any donations from anybody. Just a guy who likes making videos and streaming to catalog my fun times that I have. Um, and maybe it'll make somebody laugh. Hopefully, it'll make my kids laugh one day. It'd be nice to have a nice library for them to go back and be like, wow, dad was such an idiot. But in the meantime, welcome. Welcome to this place. I talk about a lot of weird stuff. You're going to see some other videos next to this video. You're going to be like, he talks about politics. I've gotten shit already on my views. I'm a really weird, kind of case as somebody who worked in the military in the intel field and for his whole 20s, and now I'm 30 years old and unemployed right now. So we can have some fun times. Not trying to sell myself again. The main part of this video was just to talk about getting back on my prescription drugs, getting off of the cannabis, telling that guy that made the video a few months ago, hey, it was a good ride, but things didn't work out the way that we thought they were going to work out entirely. And who knows, maybe I'll find a happy medium. Maybe I'll find a balance between the two. There's a lot of studies out there that scare me regarding cannabis, just because of how I feel the effects on my body. I don't know. I'm just real big pussy when it comes to heart issues, just because that's where my anxiety usually makes me focus. But yeah, for those of you out there that are going through it, man, stay strong. I've got your back. Feel free to comment. I will talk back to you. That sounds mean. I will respond. You've got friends. We all do. The world needs people that are there for others, and if you're struggling with something, then I want to be able to be there for you too. So love you all. To the real ones who have been there from the beginning, and to those who are just coming here now, welcome. And let's continue having a great 2026. And I'm gonna go probably play some Minecraft with my sons today. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.